Tom has done so much to promote the legend and the infamy of Peleg Walker, all true. Tom has uncovered facts.
And like H.P. Lovecraft, he's also our cousin, Carl.
Yes.
Who, Tom?
Oh,
there
yeah,
you go.
Tom's our yeah. He's always family.
Mm-hmm. Peleg is our cousin, yeah.
Yep, Peleg is your cousin.
Now, why are we here today, Tom?
Well, because this is actually the 202nd anniversary, right to the day, Sunday, that they found Mr. Walker in the factory, deceased.
Nefariously deceased, I'd say.
And so we're coming here, we're going to do a little investigation, we're going to pay tribute, go to the grave, kind of pay tribute also. I actually found the obituaries for him, and it mentions nothing about anything. All it says is Peleg Walker, Esquire, Foster, suddenly deceased. That's it.
That's understood.
Suddenly deceased.
All the obituaries, you know, you can read and it says someone drowned, they were burned by fire, they died of old age, they were this, they were that, you know, they did this. His has that one little line in all the newspapers I found. That's it. Isn't that wild?
It's like they wanted to sweep it under the rug, so to speak.
Something happened.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we have this. Yeah, so we're going to go in and see what happens.
Was it a cover-up?
You know, that's the thing that's going to end up being a mystery, but I got to say the deeds were a bit nefarious as they were made up at 1:15 in the morning under candlelight, and they transfer his property and his holdings in the factory to only Potter and William Potter.
Who does that at that time of the morning?
Nobody does, because he would be working by candlelight. There was no such thing as kerosene lanterns or anything.
Isn't there something
Especially out here.
strange about the signature as well?
Yeah, he didn't sign it. It wasn't signed by him. It was signed by
another
someone
caveat.
else. And there was another deed that was hidden way in all the other books about some more holdings that were given to William A. Potter, the son, which is rather strange.
Now, Peleg is renowned for the ensuing paranormal activity alleged, but we don't even need that. His story is fascinating in itself.
He's not the only one, though. Don't forget, Jonathan
nearby.
Buckland killed himself in the mill also in 1817. And people, there's a funny thing about that, because his wife was Polly Buckland, who married a Round, Polly Round, and that's why the trail disappeared on his life. But he had made a deal with Potters. He owed money, and he put his land up, and when he couldn't pay the money back, they got his land.
This is a very convoluted story.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
As we
wild?
find out more, and you've got a lot to do with finding out more.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we're going to go in and see what we can do.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The historian, really.
I had good luck yesterday. I got skunked today.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we thought you let him go.
Maybe I killed it too bad yesterday. You know, they knew I was coming.
I recognize your face. That's what.
Take care, guys.
They recognize,
Have a good day.
they recognize his all-seeing eye of
You want to
God.
go up there and see it? Are you interested? Hang on a second.
I'll fall on my ass.
Foreboding tree, as Tom says.
You know, it's all those roots that come out of the ground that kick.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my butt.
So this could have been the Potter home, only in Aura.
Wow.
Could have been. It's according to measurements and things like that.
Well, there are only so many foundations here and so many possibilities.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it could
there
be.
was more probably way in here, but they dug it out in the 1970s, early 70s, when they Health got and owned it, and unfortunately, and then they sold it to the Lucy Corporation, and the Lucy Corporation later, the Providence Water Supply Board, and then it came into as a land trust.
Is this part of the original mill village?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, is it true that there are still flowers budding annually that the wives planted for gardens in their houses? They lived here, and supposedly, even though the houses are long gone, the flowers come back annually. I've heard that.
Yes, and we're going to be walking right by them. In fact, we have some at our house. Arlene took some
Oh, wow.
about 8 years ago and planted them in our backyard, and they're still budding.
They're perpetuated.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And they're easy.
They're very easy to transplant. We have a couple growing in our yard. That
So that's Indian soap, Tom.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That always grows near water.
Plus a caterpillar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing you could expect.
It looks
And
like
this is a viney thing, isn't it? Doesn't it grow close to the ground too?
Yeah, we have those growing in our yard. They take over everything.
Yes,
That's,
yes.
What's left of the foundations. And you'll see some bricks as we walk along. You'll see remnants of bricks around before we get to the corner. The hurricane of '38 took a lot of trees down and ripped all the mounds up and everything. And then in the '60s, of course, the Hopkins family would use these as kitchen middens, garbage dumps, because they didn't have collection. So a lot of it got filled. So if you were to start digging, you'd find a whole bunch of old stuff that.
Oh, right.
Good stuff. Yeah, they would take the truck down that upper road, which we'll be meeting up with over here, and they'd get rid of the garbage. Well, it's covered in with rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I remember when you could actually see right down.
Somebody could break an ankle or leg.
Yeah, it's a well. And who would have used that well? Families around here,
whole
workers?
village.
Yeah, these were the way the buildings were, the houses were here. And that run, and then the store is right there. We'll see it when you walk, when we walk around, you'll see the wall. And there's actually an opening where the wagons used to back up still. There's an opening in it where the wagons would back up and they had mostly dry goods. If they needed anything like more than that, they'd walk up to Hopkins Mills. But the store, only Potter actually, and his, when they did all the, inventory, they mentioned it in his inventory about the store and how they ran it with the dry goods. And also they mentioned that the attic of the mill had stuff in it too. So this must have been a 3-story mill, even though it was so small, where they had a garret to house all stuff.
Is this the path you see the guy carrying the lantern?
This right here is.
It's daylight. He doesn't need it now.
No.
But we have to do it.
This right here is the path. This is the original road.
What happened here?
This was the original road that led from Ramsdale Road. I think it was called Davis Road at that time, though. All the way down here through to the bridge and across and out by the Rounds family, Rounds farm, out to Central Pike. And it was one road. You could actually drive this. I remember when I was 12 years old, my father took me fishing, and he took me fishing here. I didn't even know it. It was but he took me fishing. He wanted to try one more thing, and I saw the foundation and everything of the factory. Believe it or not, you could drive down here in the early 70s. And then the wheel pit was inside the mill.
What?
The wheel pit was inside the mill.
Inside the well, okay.
Very similar to Slater Mill.
Right.
The
because
Wilkinson
that way,
Mill.
the chances of it freezing was less. And the sluiceway ran way, it was like, oh God, what did they say? It was like 90 rods or something. And the rod is 16 and a half feet.
There's one up on Windsor Road at Sluiceway, and I've walked it. It seems like miles, of course it wasn't.
Yeah, it was amazing how they did that and why they did it. And that's why the Potter's family, that was probably the Potter's home we were at, because the sluiceway ran across their property to get here. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Tom, can you tell us where that building that was photographed, precisely, or as close as you can, where that was situated?
If that's the building, it would be over here. See where the wall is there? Where
Yes.
the thing is going across there, out to the road, in here. And you'd see the back of the building, you can see like a dock opening, and that's the wheel area. And I mean, you can see what's the remains of a big foundation here, a sub-foundation there, which would be the, getting into the wheel pit. And then all of this is underneath here. We found nails, and they're not cut nails, which is great, because cut nails were about 1825. They started cutting nails. But before that, blacksmiths made them. So we found the blacksmith nails. You can see the imperfections in them and everything. And we found a weight to a Taunton speeder. You know how they used to have the different weights for the different...
Yeah.
Because the speed of the river. to keep the speeder up with the speed of the river. So if the river's flowing hard, they can go, right, let's go. And if it's not flowing that well, you needed to, slow it down, the speeder, and match it. Yeah. They had one Taunton speeder in this mill.
For the whole factory.
Yeah, they had by 1830s, they had 700 spindles. And earlier than that, they had 500. Normal factories had 15,000.
If I remember. Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. They were also hired to give to supply cloth for the poor people too. Yeah. So, and the reason they came out here is because, well, thinking William Potter, wow, I'm in Warwick, there's all mills there. Smithfield, there's all mills there. Where are there not mills that are going to sooner or later be populated? Here in Foster, that's the 9-mile line or 12-mile line. What was it? 7-mile line, yeah. And so they came out here from Warwick and said, I'm going to start a mill here. Yeah, and we're gonna, when it gets populated, we're gonna be the head of this. We're gonna be ahead of everybody. But Boston never really got populated.
I was going to say it's still meager.
Yeah, it's still
comparatively.
You can see across. You can actually still see across where the dam is. They got two curves this way. You can see the big rock wall where part of the dam was. So
I don't see the cross. Let's make it a silly joke.
no, after when the water's low, you can walk across the rock. After the War of 1812, he decided he was going to wear a beard. He was actually attacked by the townspeople. He tried to cut his beard off. And he fended him off and stabbed one in the leg, and he ended up in jail for it. And when the nation found out, because by 1824 or something when this happened, when the nation found out, the Lemonster looked like a bunch of idiots, and they're fools, and what they did is they said, we gotta let him go, I mean, come on. And he goes, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until I can walk up the streets and wear my beard and like that. And he wouldn't leave for like months. So finally what they did is they drugged him up, they tied him to a chair, and they threw him in a chair out in the street. And then they locked him out of jail.
Now, you've been up here many, many times.
Yeah.
Have you found any mementos or anything?
Yeah, I got some nails. Like I said, I got the Taunton speeder. I found a hinge. I got the weight to a Taunton speeder. We found that when we were with some friends one time. We found nails right over here, underneath here, just because I got a metal detector. We keep in the car just for the fun of it. And the nails were not cut nails, they were actually blacksmith nails.
How about the dump? Did you do the dump?
No.
There must be a lot of things under here. Think of how much the earth has been
Because the
built
dump, they would
up.
be doing the metal cans and stuff like that, and you'd be finding so much stuff. Those are the
Dowsing rods.
They dig what?
That dig graves for a living.
Really?
That run cemeteries, and some of them use dowsing rods to find a spot that's empty.
Isn't that amazing?
They said it'll move over a grave,
to amaze me.
and it'll stay solid over solid
So it
ground.
spins, yeah. That's a good idea, Heidi.
I just read though where they should be about 3 to 4 inches long, and I always said short.
Well, I have, it doesn't really matter, I use
I don't think
longer
so
ones.
either.
This fits in here, but I have some that are actually adjustable,
fit me,
which
that's
is really cool.
That's going to
I
be a
have to
sound
make
principle,
them.
yeah.
I haven't used them this size for a long
GPRs
time.
jump in and ring radar, you see what they map out. That would be responsive.
This is
Sometimes
the-
this isn't
impulse.
working anymore.
This is the half.
There you go.
This is the half chain.
Oh, okay.
A regular chain is 66 feet, and that's why you have miles being 5,280 feet, because that's 88 chains and all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, and city blocks and roads were all measured in chains. This is a half chain, 33 feet, and it's easy to bring through the woods, as you can see. You try to bring a 66-foot chain through cities, kind of impossible. This is even tough.
How do you make it work?
On town roads are 33 feet.
Yeah, that's why.
I didn't mean it. I didn't think it was really gonna. I was kidding. I didn't even really gonna.
Half a
open
chain.
it.
Literally a chain.
Grab a side.
I'm
We
an
actually
audience.
found
the
a
other end.
cemetery that was lost.
Each link is 7.98 inches, including the handles. So you'll notice the
Don't
first
back
link
up
is
too
shorter
far.
The first link was
I'll go
shorter
over the
than
edge.
Flush.
That's as far as you should go.
Yeah, the first link was shorter than all the other links because the handle was included. So right now I am 33 feet away from you.
Oh, wow.
Two
Something you
rods.
should have in your trunk. See?
Yeah,
Two
everybody should
rods,
put it in.
16.5 foot per rod.
So there should be no reception here, right, Tom?
Exactly.
Bless you.
I heard something.
That's just getting it ready.
All right.
Playback.
Okay.
Danny. FM.
There we are. Now we'll see what happens. Ha! Anyone want to ask a question? Oh, start recording.
Ready?
I am ready.
Peleg, what happened 202 years ago today?
There's been a lot of excitement down here 200 years ago.
It was, especially on a Sunday.
And this is the anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did the whole village go to church today?
Where's the mill? Hopkins Mill? I think I'm lost.
Is Aura with you? Is Mary with you?
We did get a EVP one time when she was reading the cards and she said, who's in charge of the finances? She got a certain card,
I got Queen of Coins.
Queen of Coins, and when I was listening back later, you hear aura. And then we're looking, go, what's aura? And then that's when we researched and found Aura Plata owned the mill after only died suddenly in 1831.
Tarot cards were very popular back then.
Maybe we don't need to be so rudimentary in our questions.
I have a pair, some tarot cards that were my mother's.
Those
Do you
thousand
really?
yards, what are you looking for now?
You here with us today? Could someone tell us what year it is?
Do you have a message for us? We just wanted to say hello to you today. Let you know that we're thinking of you.
My brother and I were kinfolk to Peleg.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, Keith and I are cousins. Not quite as close as to H.P. Lovecraft, only because he's more recent, but same lineage.
Did you go where he's buried
Peleg? Yes, I have.
today?
No, not today. I assume he's going to be there for me.
We haven't been there yet to pay our respects.
Could you tell me what time it is?
Do you like Tom's watch?
1860. Key wine. You need a key to wind it, see? He said it. They used to make them handmade back then. It's got a porcelain face all carved and everything. Do you know what time it is? It should be the second hour of Sabbath. The second half. And that's what I find strange, because they found him on a Sunday. Wouldn't they be all at church? Maybe he
Well,
didn't
I
show
think
up,
when
they
he
went
when he
looking
didn't
for
come home, probably his wife Mary was very curious. Where is he?
Yeah.
Why isn't he at church? Why isn't he home?
Check them.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll make a difference that Carl and I are blood relatives to Peleg?
Yeah.
I thought it
If we
would.
say it.
Yeah, if you're, yeah, you really need to introduce yourselves. I never knew that, guys. It's like amazing.
They could speak like they did in his time.
They spoke like us.
Yeah, pretty much.
A more Midwestern accent, though.
Keith, my brother Keith and I, we're kinfolk to Peleg Walker. Little diphthong on the consonant there. Like a Southern American.
Yeah, the British adopted that. You hear now in the middle 1800s, so they could, the rich ones, so they could separate. Could you tell us why you came to the mill?
Are you with your wife now?
Holly Buckland, after he committed suicide, you lose track of her because a few years later she married him around. And they're buried up near the town hall.
That's it. Round Hill.
Actually, near the Walker Road.
Oh,
They're
okay.
buried over there, yeah.
Any relation to Benjamin Buckland of Nine Men's Misery?
Not that I know of.
That would be
Not that I know of. Benjamin Buckland, yeah, the giant.
The Nephilim Bucklands.
Two
Yes.
sets of teeth.
You got a cat ball there too, Tom? Or-
Yeah, just in case. Something, move it. Got it.
Here, let's show how that works.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is really interesting. You can answer questions for us.
And
I
it
know.
moves, if something moves it, it goes off.
It takes a lot of energy.
We had one move in a children's cemetery when we asked them if they wanted to play with the ball. It moved.
We'll see. All
I
you
got that on
have to
camera
do,
somewhere. I just gotta
Peleg
retrieve
or
it.
whoever is with us, you can come right over here close. It's not going off again. Uh-oh.
There it is, hon.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy then.
There it
Yeah,
is.
help me out. Once I get down, I can't get back on.
Yeah, we got a couple of them. Just to see if you want to move the ball.
It worked at Concord Colonial.
Yeah, it did. At the
The
Panorama.
last one on April 18th. It was like amazing.
We had
Everything
the water
happened
bottle
then.
moved too. On the table, and the table was dry, and the water bottle was dry.
And there were people all standing
I
around
I
it.
went to do it myself, and I just pushed the bottle over.
Oh, that's good. Always better when there's people there.
I know.
So
it really-
Peleg, or Jonathan Buckland, or Richard Salisbury, or
or whoever is here,
yeah.
just introduce yourself to us. We'd love to hear from you. Wish we had tarot
or
cards.
Betsy Grayson. And I got a deck in the car. We should get a deck in the car too.
You never know when you have an emergency card reading. Attention.
Yeah, you never know when you need to tell someone's fortune really quick.
Guess who was an Eagle Scout?
Always prepared.
I even got chopsticks in the car. Just in case.
In case he
For any
needs
emergency.
emergency Chinese food.
Yeah.
How old was Betsy Grayson when she met her end?
60.
60.
Yeah.
It's not that old.
Well, 65, I think. Yeah. It was in 1860, though.
But she was by herself?
Yeah. She
No one
was
to help
by
her?
herself. She was 65, I think. She was going to fetch a bucket of water with a wooden bucket, but from the pool, the water was rushing very quickly, and it dragged her in, and she hit her head on the rocks and drowned. And it's right according, it's in the death record says that too, and that's who they see. That they call the ghost of Dolly Cole is actually Betsy Grayson.
And that's who you saw, you
And
believe?
that's who I saw, yeah. I didn't know it until a year later when I was reading Joe St. Pierre's article on Rampage in 1973, and then he started mentioning this and the ghost, and I'm going, wait a minute, that's exactly what I saw.
Wow.
My father didn't. He was Betsy Grayson or whatever. He goes, drew the water from the, the bucket, drew the bucket in and started walking down the path. And like 3 seconds later, my father comes walking down that way down the path. Now that's a really thin path with a lot of briars over there on Hopkins Mill Pond, going past where the old mill is. So there's no way you could pass somebody and not see them.
Yeah.
It'd be like someone walking down this path right now. No way.
So where did she die? In Hopkins Mills?
Yeah, right where the bridge is, there's a pool there. The old bridge, the one that's closed down now, that they made a walking area. Right there.
I've heard that story, but I never knew what her name was.
And she's buried. It's funny because I guess the family took her back to Situate and buried her. You know where 101 and Route 6 split? There's a cemetery up there, and that split there, that's where she's buried.
Yes.
There's no marker there, is there?
Yeah, there is.
It's a small historical cemetery. Overgrown, very overgrown.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
So
But,
that's where the Dolly Cole story comes from, because Dolly Cole...
I know, isn't that wild?
Why did he do that? I mean,
She got mixed up with a few people.
I know,
But
they
people
did.
just telling stories.
She was a witch, she was a vampire.
She was everything.
She died at 94 or something? 96 years old. Yeah, she buried right in the house. Yeah. And Aura Potter was her daughter. Only Potter's wife who took over the factory here when he died, that was their daughter. Dolly and Hugh Cole. And she's buried right over there near the family, in the family plot too.
When we were kids, they call them Indian graves, but they're not. If you go real close and look at some of those stones, you can pick the names out because they chisel the names into the stones.
Yeah, a lot of people they didn't, especially first settling these areas, they didn't have a lot of money. They were land poor. You could own 40 acres of land, but that's all you had. And then they would, and then with the diseases and everything, they die. So a lot of them died, and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You don't have, even if you had some money, you couldn't procure a stone. They didn't have them like today. You just say, yeah, I want a stone. Okay, okay, here you go.
Right.
They had to have it carved. You had to pay for it. So some of these people, if they got stones, sometimes they got them 2-3 years later. And some never got them. They could never afford them. So field stones would mark the area until they could procure a stone, which they never did. And then that's the way it always ended.
Before you leave,
They got recording.
Okay. Before we leave, do you have another message for us? We really appreciate you letting us visit today.
We come on this day of special significance, and we'll be back.
Absolutely.